the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. We all know that the public, they pay taxes. The money paid is the hard-earned money of the general common masses. Government uses this money collected by way of taxes in various numerous projects, developmental projects, infrastructure, the pensions, and a long list is there. Now the question arises, is this money put to proper use? Is there some misallocation of funds, misappropriation of funds? Is it taking place? Are the ministers, are the ruling government making this public money their personal money? Is something of this sort is going to happen? If the money is not spent and is kept for the next year, is the money kept safe? To stop this misuse of the ruling government and keep a check on the ministers, our constitution has set up a special post called the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. When we go to the market and you are having money in your purse, you guard your purse so well, right? Similarly, now it is the national purse. This is the public purse which has so much funds in this. Who is going to guard this? It is the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, called the guardian of the public purse. He is the guardian of the country's financial system. Whatever expenditure government has done, it conducts a post-mortem of those expenditures. Is everything in place? Is every expenditure happened at the way it is shown in the documents? CAG is the apex supreme authority which is responsible for the external audit and the internal audit of all the expenses of the national government, the union government and the central government both. The Constitution of India has made the office of Comptroller and Auditor General of India as the auditor of the nation. You have so many companies and each company has his own auditor. There are external audits done, there are external audits done. So who is the auditor of the nation, who is going to audit the expenditure of the government? It is the CAG. CAG is responsible to inspect all the expenditure of the central government, to audit all the expenditure of the central government, not only the central government but the state government as well. Also, such organizations or such corporations which are majorly funded by the government supplies money to those corporations also come in the CAG diameter. It has the authority, it has the responsibility to inspect and audit the expenditure of all those organizations. CAG is the agent for maintaining the answerability and to secure the accountability of the ruling government. The government knows that CAG is going to audit all our accounts. So therefore, it is quite possible that the ministers, they will not misappropriate the funds because they know that they are being answerable to CAG. They have a check. If there is a check, so this most probably the person will not commit a fraud. So to save the public money paid by taxes, to save it from misappropriation, this CAG has been created. Usually they are from Indian Administrative Services or IAAS, Indian Audit and Account Service. They have to clear the UPSC Civil Services exam. CAG audits the accounts which are associated with the expenditure from the Consolidated Fund of India and the Consolidated Fund of every state, of every union territory which has a legislative assembly. So whatever expenditure has been done from that Consolidated Fund, CAG has to audit it. It also audits all the expenditure from the Contingency Fund of India, for all the natural calamities, disasters, earthquakes, floods and droughts. So that Contingency Fund of India, whatever expenditure is done by the government from that fund, CAG has to audit. Similarly, the Contingency Fund for every state, that has also to be audited by CAG. All the receipts and expenditures of all the bodies and authorities which are financed from the central government or the state government, the government companies, such or corporations, everybody has to be audited by the CAG. Now, if the President of India or the Governor of any state requests CAG, CAG can audit the account of that local body also. Any authority which the President or the Governor recommends to CAG, CAG can audit that particular local body, that particular authority as well. Apart from that, it advises the President regarding the form in which the accounts of the central and the state have to be kept. Now there is another PAC committee of the parliament. We will be talking about this PAC in the coming slides. CAG also acts as a friend and guide and philosopher to PAC. I will talk about it in this article itself. Now to cross check and audit the expenses of the government and to audit all the money bill which is passed in the Lok Sabha, this department is made. So whichever money bill is passed, all the expenses of the government, CAG has to audit all these accounts department. CAG is the constitutional body. Mr. Ambedkar said that CAG is the most important post which has been created by the Constitution of India. Part 5 of the Constitution describes the roles and the responsibilities. In Chapter 5, Article 148, 149, 150 and 151 deal with of the Constitution. They deal with CAG. It has the power to audit all the central and state government expenses. Now CAG will make an audit report of the central government expenses and it will be submitted to the president. Likewise, the audit report of all the expenses of the state government will be submitted to the respective governor of that state. The president will lay those reports submitted by the CAG in each house of the parliament and the governor will lay such reports submitted by CAG in the legislature of the state. CAG will check all the schemes, all the developmental projects which have been passed by the Parliament and the Vidhan Sabha, and CAG will also check the respective balances. CAG has the power to audit the department's trading and manufacturing account as well, the profit and loss account and the balance sheet of the central government and the balance sheet of the state government. It also verifies the budget which has been passed by the government for any special task. You know, there are so many budgets which the government keeps on passing for this task, that task, everything CAG has to verify. And in the recent news, you must have come across so many scams which have been exposed by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Now the president, when this report is given by the CAG to the president will get this report in the parliament. Now parliament, another committee is formed which is called the Public Account Committee. Now what happens is, to keep a check on the ruling government, CAG post has been created. Now to keep a check on the CAG, this PAC has been created. PAC comprises of the legislative, 22 members, 15 will be from the Lok Sabha and 7 will be from the Rajya Sabha. Now what report which CAG will give, PAC will review this report. CAG will explain the report to them. PAC will have no minister as the member. You know, what if the ruling government and the CAG, they come in an alliance? Okay, the CAG may tell the government that I will hide all your scams and they become one body. So what will happen? All the hard-earned money of the public is going to waste. So to overcome this barrier of an alliance between the CAG and the ruling government, this PAC has been created. So PAC is going to review the report which CAG has to submit. Now CAG knows that his report will be inspected. The report will be scrutinized. Therefore, there are very few chances that CAG will hide the report. CAG will give a true and fair report of the government expenses. And another important thing, the president of PAC is the opposition party member. Now the opposition party member will leave no stone unturned to check the expenditure of the government. So this is the way the constitution has removed all the obstacles so that a true and fair view of all the expenditure of the government has to be presented. So to keep a check on the ministers, CAG is there. To keep a check on CAG, this PAC is there, which is headed by the opposition party member. Appointment of CAG, the constitution is not clearly mentioning about it, but the CAG is definitely appointed by the president. It is one of the few important posts which are directly appointed by the President of India. As we talk about the term of CAG, it is either 6 years or 65 years of age, whichever happens earlier. If CAG is appointed at 50 years of age, he shall serve full 6 years. Okay, and if he is appointed at 60 years of age, then he shall serve only for 5 years, because then 65 years coming earlier than 6 years. The constitution makes provision to maintain the independence of the post. So all these things have been created so that the report of CAG is unbiased and no government is able to put a pressure on CAG. CAG is appointed by the president, right? And he is provided with the security of the tenure. While preparing his report, he is under no pressure that if I write these evidences, if I write this report, oh my god, they will pull me out of my chair. No, it's not like that. He is assured with security of his tenure. He can be removed by the president uh, according to the procedures which are mentioned in the constitution, which are identical to the removal of the judge of the Supreme Court, and it is a very difficult procedure. After the retirement, CAG cannot take any post under the central government or the state government. You cannot take a post, because it may be possible that the ruling government may give him allurement. Okay, you hide our these scams. Once you retire, we will give you this high post so that you have your safe old age. But therefore, this provision has been maintained. The provision has been created that CAG cannot take any post under the central government or under the state government after the retirement. It's not allowed. He is not even eligible for further office under any government. But he can be a MP or MLA if he wishes to. So there is no restriction of him becoming a member of parliament or of the legislative assembly. The salary cannot be changed after the appointment to his disadvantage. The ruling government cannot put a pressure that you prepare so and so report, otherwise we will reduce your salary. So this is not possible. Therefore, the clause has been created that once CAG has been appointed, you cannot demote the salary. This is just to ensure that no government will put any pressure on the post. The salary is 2.5 lakh, which is subject to no tax. All the administrative expenses of the office of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, the salaries, allowances, pensions, whatever, they will be charged from the Consolidated Fund of India, and it is not subject to any vote of Parliament. Now the removal, it's very difficult to remove the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. You have to have a special majority of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. It's very difficult to achieve, and just as I told you, the procedure is same as for the removal of the Supreme Court judge. There are little limitations we can talk about. The provision to the appointment is not very clearly stated. No doubt that appointment is done by the president, this we know, but there are still a little unclear to it. Now, the CAG has to believe what is presented to them by the documents. The documents are presented to him, the expenditure has already been done. Whatever the documents are there, on the basis of those documents, the CAG has to prepare the report. Now, whether the documents are fair or not, the CAG cannot do anything about it, right? Further, CAG cannot control the expenditure of the government. It can just audit the expenditure of the government. There are two different terms. Controlling the expenditure and auditing the expenditure, two different terms. It audits the accounts only after the expenditure has been committed. Okay, it cannot control the withdrawal of the money by any government. If we talk about UK, the Comptroller is the name of the Comptroller is justified because no fund can be withdrawn from the public exchequer without the approval of CAG. So there the things are different. When we're talking about India, the CAG has to just audit the expenditures which are already done by the government. Okay, so here I come to the end of the article. I hope I've made the things clear to you. In case you have any doubts, feel free to ask me in the comment section. You want to give me any suggestions, please write in the comment section. Like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay blessed.